He is the reporter who helped break the Watergate story in the early 70s. Carl, I mean, is this deja vu for you to hear this kind of audio tape of the President of the United States, the sitting president, who is trying to change the truth, who is trying to instigate overturning of election results in Georgia?
It's not deja vu. This is something far worse than occurred in Watergate. We have both a criminal president of the United States in Donald Trump and a subversive president of the United States at the same time in this one person, subverting the very basis of our democracy and willing to act criminally in that subversion. But more important, what we hear on this tape, this is the ultimate smoking gun tape. It is the tape with the evidence of what this president is willing to do to undermine the electoral system and illegally, improperly, and immorally try to instigate a coup in which he remains the president of the United States. And in any other presidency, this tape would be evidence enough to result in the impeachment of the president of the United States, his conviction in the Senate of the United States, and really an immediate call by the members of Congress, including of his own party, that he resign immediately. That's really what we ought to be hearing from Republicans at this moment. Mr. President, resign, leave the White House. This is unconscionable, it is wrong, and we of your party will not permit it. Now, we're not going to hear that. We might from a few Republicans, but that's what's really called for here. And the one thing we should recall from Watergate is that the heroes of Watergate were Republicans who would not tolerate Richard Nixon's conduct.
And then, to a parallel, then perhaps a hero here would be your Georgia Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, who is willing to stand up to. You listen to this audio recording. He is standing up to the president, saying, "No, Mr. President, you know our numbers say this. Your numbers might be different." And then you go to the court, and the courts have already seen fit that our numbers are correct. But the president continues on the tape defiant, and he threatens the Secretary of State and the attorney, saying point blank, it would be of great risk to you, to do something other than what I'm instructing.
First of all, your implication is absolutely correct. This is a threat, a real threat, but not just for some general purpose, but a very specific criminal purpose for the Secretary of State to come up with a certain number of votes plus one to deliver illegally an election to the President of the United States. We've never had a tape like this before, including the Nixon tapes. But as to heroes, yes, the Secretary of State in Georgia is a hero, but so are hundreds of other election officials and state officials who have done their job, counted the ballots, stuck with it despite threats, including to their safety and health. We've had a lot of heroes here. Where we have not had heroes is in the Senate of the United States, particularly the Republican members of the Senate of the United States, except for a few who have been craven in refusing to condemn this kind of conduct by an out-of-control President of the United States. And the real disgrace in the House of Representatives, more than 140, probably a majority of the Republicans in the House, willing to promulgate and continue this idea, despite the evidence of upending a legal, proper election in which the evidence is clear, the results are clear. This is fantasy. It's not delusion, because they know what they're doing. And the question really is some real leader of the Republican Party? Liz Cheney has done it, and I hope she continues to. But is there a leader in the Senate? Could McConnell, miracle? No, I doubt it. Get up and say, now, Mr. President, you have gone too far. That would put in somewhat, not an end, but would certainly curtail some of the craziness and the outrages that we are seeing from the Republican Party. And also, in the long run, look, I don't have a crystal ball, but I would think that the Republican Party, that this presidency, and particularly its end, and supporting what this president is doing in the final days of his presidency, may be the end of the Republican Party as we know it, as a constructive, decent force in our politics in this country. And all of these Republicans, from Cruz, all the rest of them who have participated in this sham, really ought to be made to pay by history, as should their party. This is not some kind of forgivable act. This is not about two simple equal sides of an equation. There are no two sides to this question. This is about democracy, fundamental principle, and the astonishing thing is to see one of the parties, one of the great political parties, the party of Lincoln, the party of Eisenhower, et cetera, what was also for a while the party of McCarthy. And now we have for the first time, a president of the United States who has exceeded McCarthy in his authoritarianism and his disrespect for the Constitution, the rule of law, and the Republican Party of our time, with McConnell's leadership, with McCarthy's leadership, has gone along with it to their disgrace.
So, Carl Bernstein, stick around. I also want you to be thinking about what the next 17 days might be looking like before inauguration of the next president of the United States. We're going to take a short break for now, and we'll be right back.